Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the First Class, Second Place podcast. I'm your host, Jason Enrique, and with me today I have another very special guest. I have my favorite MindMinx, your favorite MindMinx, everybody's favorite MindMinx. Everybody, MindMinx. How you doing?
Hello.
It's good to have you back again.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, always. You know you're always welcome on First Class, Second Place.
I love being here.
Really?
Yeah, because we always have the greatest conversations.
Yes, even when we're not on the microphone, like our conversations get really crazy and really lit.
And we get to have honest anything conversations.
Yeah, I've told a lot of people about you and your show, but one of the first things that I always mention is that I look at you as my best friend in this game, because like I discovered your show, and then afterwards I told you about mine, you had me on yours, and then afterwards our friendship just took off from there. And to me, it's even more than just a colleague at this point.
There's definitely a camaraderie there that's nice.
Yes, and we're still doing it, we're still hanging, we're still supporting each other, and it's a beautiful thing.
My favorite memory of that kind of a support is when I was offered to do my first social media coverage of an event, and I'd never done anything like that. And I was like, can you please? And you were there. You were like 100. Yeah, let's do this.
Was that Cityplex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Maurice Luke and everybody over there.
Yep.
That was a crazy day. And, we also did a hell of a lot of networking that day as well.
Yes, we did.
Shout out to the Arena Podcast. We met him on that day. Another podcast, another good friends of ours that we've met and we've kept in touch, and it's a beautiful thing. That's one of the things I love about being in this community, and especially for me personally, it's for lack of a better term, how I've always said on the show already, that it's kind of like the family I've always been looking for.
Honestly, that's exactly right. And you know what? All of that was possible because of Uniquely Coordinated. So we have to give a special shout out to Bern.
Special shout out to Bernadette. Uniquely coordinated.
That's okay. I couldn't say it either.
You realize how many times people have actually messed up the name of my show?
I always mess it up.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like First Place. I remember a friend of mine, shout out to Cash, she actually called it First Class, Last Place.
Oh, wow. Okay. But we had that conversation too. I messed it up in the beginning also.
You did. It is a tongue twister. But you know what? Even I think that when I first did it, it was a little bit of a tongue twister for me. And then afterwards, I just kind of had to enunciate and slow it down. And then now it just rolls off the tongue like it's like my language.
Same thing with my name. Everybody says MindMinx.
Yeah, actually, I've actually heard a couple people call it MindMinx.
Oh yeah, everybody calls me Mindy. My name is Mindy, apparently. In real life, people call me Mindy.
Yeah. So for the people that didn't get a chance to listen to our first episode that we did, pretty much almost a year ago. Yeah. What does the name MindMinx come from?
Oh gosh. All right. So if you look up the word minx in the Urban Dictionary, it's a young promiscuous woman. But I don't want to just fuck you. I want to mind fuck you. So that's where my name comes from, the MindMinx.
There you go. Yeah, I love it. And, I'm pretty sure that sooner or later people are going to actually get it right.
Hopefully.
I think so. It's like, it's a little bit like confusing in the beginning, but then afterwards, after a while, it didn't take me that long to finally get it correctly. So before we started recording, I just finished the first year of my podcast. It's been
congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And you also just hit like a year and a half now.
Just about.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start there. I wanted to talk about the things that we have done, respectively and separately throughout our platforms, because I feel like I'm pretty sure you feel this way. But for me personally, I never expected that so much would happen to me and for my platform in 1 year only, before even the 1 year mark happened. And it's making me excited to what's going to happen next in the future. So ever since you started the show, and then afterwards when you hit that 1 year mark, how have things changed for you?
Well, the amount of people that I've been able to connect with is incredible. I think that is by far the biggest accomplishment. Right. I never in a million years would have thought that I would be in a circle of people like this, ranging from artists, politicians, actors, like blue checkmark people, like real
Absolutely.
ones.
It's about time you get that blue check.
Oh God. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I mean, you still have to show me, or at least give me some tips about monetization, because now you're officially monetized.
I am officially, yeah. Like, I don't know how the hell that happened, but Instagram decided that they wanted to pay me for my reels. And it's weird, though, because it could be a 5-second reel of me, you know, showing the beach, and I'll get 23,000 views, but then 500 on the next one, and that's it.
You know what's crazy is that I'm not much of a Facebook person, but you know, the reels that I've shared, the very few reels that I have now that I have on Instagram, they actually get shared on Facebook. And today I actually got a notification that one of them reached 1,000 views, which is even more than I'm getting on Instagram or even TikTok. So I don't know. Like I said, Facebook is not really my thing, but it might have to be my platform if it's going to give me the most views.
Sure.
And to my understanding, I don't know if you heard this, but some people have actually said that monetizing on Facebook is actually a lot easier than all the other streaming social media platforms. I don't know why that is, but that's what I heard. I don't even know if it's 100%.
It has to be an algorithm thing, because I have my MindMinx page on Facebook, and I don't have anywhere near the traction. Like, I don't even have the same. I'll post the same exact things, and I don't have anywhere near the interaction that I do.
Right. Well, and what would you say so far has been your proudest moment while doing the show?
My proudest moment while doing the show?
Like, maybe is there like a guest that you couldn't believe that you got, and that's like the biggest accomplishment for you thus far?
Oh, wow. I know I'm going to insult some people, but I'm going to have to say it's Frankie Negron.
I had a feeling, yeah. I know that you were super hyped when you told me about that.
Gosh, like, I had a Grammy-nominated music artist that came on the show, and now, mind you, 90% of the people who have come on my show were introduced to me by a mutual friend.
Right.
He was also, but it was someone else whom I had interviewed, and they felt so good about the work that I had put in with their interview that, you know, they felt confident enough to actually think that this would be a great connection. So this was the first time that, you know, my work, not just my friendship with someone, that actually connected me with someone of this caliber. Wow. So I'm pretty proud of that.
That's also, and that's an awesome accomplishment, especially coming from somebody that used to listen to their music all the time when you were younger.
And he came from Newark.
Yeah, Jersey guy as well. You know, that's almost pretty similar to when I had Joe Benengo on my show, who is a legendary sportscaster here in New York City, and he's always a humble guy, even though he's known as like considered a legend here in these parts. He doesn't think of himself that way. He's kind of a modest guy, and so on and so forth. So I'm thankful for that part, at least, that he was able to come on my show with no problem. It wasn't a sweat for him at all. Not a problem to do it, and we had a lot of fun. And the amount of people that actually saw that episode and, you know, congratulated me on that, and because I like to think that I did a good job on it. I wanted to make sure that I put on the best show possible, because it was also kind of intimidating, because like I said, even though he's a modest guy, I'm standing in front of a guy that's been in the public eye for 25 plus years, and you know what the hell he's doing, and here I am essentially a rookie trying to see if I could hold my own, and I thought I did a pretty decent job, and his stamp of approval meant the world to me.
Now I have a question for you. With all the people that you've interviewed, including Joe, do you find that they are down to earth and amenable to this experience with you? You just said it. You feel like you're.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And, you know, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like the format of my show is designed that way, to humanize people. Like I tell people all the time, especially like for example, let's say like you have a rapper or an R&B artist, and part of the reason I have them on my show is because, yes, I love their music and I want to promote it and, you know, let my audience know who they are. But I also want to humanize them on a certain level so that they could see that, oh, there's more to this person than just what they rap about or what they sing about or what you'll see on social media. You know, try to show the human side of it, because at the end of the day, no matter how big or small you are, there's always a sense of vulnerability that everybody has within them. And I'm not trying to cause any controversy or, you know, come around the corner with like a slick question or whatever like that. I'm trying to put them in the best light possible, because the way that I look at it for me is that nobody really gave me any opportunities that I wanted with this endeavor, but I'm still selfless enough to offer those opportunities to others. And that's A perfect example is that when I had Mercedes Rolon, shout out to Mercedes, as my very first guest host. She just hit me up one day when she was like, "Hey, I wanted to pick your brain about doing podcasts. I was kind of like playing with the idea that I want to do it." And yeah, I gave her some pointers, I gave her some tips, but I was like, you know what? Let me see if you really want to do this. Let me go the extra mile. Let me put you in the hot seat. Let me have you interview me. And I thought she did a phenomenal job. And the reception that we got from that episode has been great.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. So, besides some of the best things that you've experienced with your show, I mean, everybody knows that whatever endeavor that you have, there's always going to be some trials and tribulations. Can you talk to me about, and also to my audience, about some of the not so great moments on the MindMinx show?
Well, so we've just talked about how great most of the people are.
Absolutely.
Well, have you ever experienced anyone who had the opposite higher than thou attitude about, being invited to a brand new, not enough followers, not enough experience show?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. It's not fun.
Nope.
No. And it kind of puts us in an awkward spot, for lack of a better term, because we have to do the heavy lifting at that point. I mean, we already are doing enough behind the scenes as it is, and now it's like someone's piling on more extra work while we're in the middle of it.
Oh my God. I remember this one person, and when I tell you this, I was brand new. Like this was maybe my third or fourth guest ever.
Okay.
And
no names.
No names. And they were in the industry for like 20 some odd years. And I can't give too much detail because too much detail would like kind of give away who they are.
Right.
But it's hard to tell the story without the detail. In any case, there was something big that came out last summer and they were a part of it. So when I first asked them, there was no response. And then finally I was like, I have their phone number. I'm going to call them.
Right.
And they're like, I told Richie, who, by the way, Richie is one of my biggest supporters and friends who's hooked me up with so many people. It's crazy.
Right.
I told Richie, you don't have enough supporters and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but the radio station, I'm on Mix Vibes Radio.
Shout out Mix Vibes.
Has over 30,000 followers. And so that's when their tune changed. And, they wanted to, okay, fine, I'll do it. But, I've been in this industry for 20 some odd years and I had to work my ass off. I didn't just have things handed to me overnight. This was their attitude.
Right.
And then had the list of demands. Like I had to provide a tray of fruits and snacks.
I feel like I know this story.
Yeah, I tell everybody this story. And I'm just like, okay, interview. It was a good interview. I can make anything work. At the end of the day, I remember saying, and at that point, I would follow everybody.
Right.
And I would never intentionally say, hey, can you follow me back? But I noticed that this person had followed the radio station, had followed my producer, Kaz Akbar, shout out to Kaz, had followed my engineer, had followed my husband.
Oh, okay. However,
did not follow me.
Right.
So I said, hey, just wondering, to help, support each other, would you mind following? Never responded.
Wow.
Never responded. I don't like that shit. And now a year later, I can honestly say I'm not okay about that. I've met entirely too many people in this industry who are not like that, and I'm not going to stand for that. So
absolutely. Now, is there anybody on your guest that not only do you absolutely love, but do you feel this should be a much bigger star than they are right now?
In any genre?
Any genre, like any guest that you've had.
Gosh, why didn't you prep me for this? This guy could be sitting here thinking for a while. Let's see. I love Isaiah Seward.
Okay.
He's an actor, singer, comedian. He's amazing. Such a talent. He could fucking sing. I'm telling. Oh, are we allowed to curse?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. You've already said fucking shit already.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
I didn't even realize.
No censorship here.
Sorry. I think he's amazing. You already know, I think Izzy Nice is so talented.
Oh, shout out Izzy Nice. Shout out the whole Mecca. Love all y'all.
Jessica Paros. They're super talented. Again, that's through Uniquely Coordinated, that connection. Who else? Who would you say? We know all the same people.
Well, Izzy Nice is definitely one of them. And, I was actually very fortunate to have him on my show as well. I really also enjoyed, well, even though he's, he doesn't need any, big help or big support or whatever, I really enjoyed the Jack Chitterelli interview that you got.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think that was, to be honest with you, I think that was the one that had me go like, I got to reach out to this girl. I got to reach out to her and see how the hell did she get this guy on her show? Well,
all right, I want to tell it just because
yeah.
I had a friend, her name is Linda Barber, and she's this beautiful woman who I used to do food blogging with, and she actually is into a lot of politics. She ran for executive office in Bergen County. She actually did work with Jack Chitterelli, and when I first started doing the show, she's like, you got to get him on. He's running for governor. You got to get him. I was like, okay, no problem. And he was now mind you, he ran for
governor.
But as the Republican.
Right.
I'm a registered Democrat.
Same here.
Like I have some conservative views financially, but when it comes to all the other stuff, I am liberal. Like,
you know what it is for me, not to cut you off, but for me, I used to be that guy, and I'll admit this, that I was such a staunch Democrat at one point where it didn't matter what you did or how you came through or whatever. If you were in the blue, I was voting for you. If you were in the red, you're dead to me. But now, as I've gotten older and I see how much politics is a much even dirtier game than I realized, to me, it's at the point now where I just, I don't even care about affiliation. I'm just going for the best guy who I think it is, and it doesn't matter what their affiliated party is.
Well, no, for me, no, I still won't. I won't vote. I just won't vote.
Okay.
I didn't, and here's the funny part. Like, right. I'm over here telling people your vote matters, I think we're
about to agree on the same thing. Yeah.
So, like, for the
presidential election,
I can't even say it.
Well, that's how much of a clusterfuck it was.
Yeah, it was a super clusterfuck. Yeah. I didn't vote. I didn't think that Biden was the best option.
Right.
But I knew for a fact Trump was not.
Right. You know what it was to me? It was like, which would you rather have, chlamydia or gonorrhea? That's basically what it was. Those are your two choices right there.
The lesser of two evils. 100%. But so Jack Chitterelli was a really great guy.
Yeah. And, that's one of the things that I appreciated on that on the interview that he had with him, because again, how I try to do with my format, I try to humanize people. I think that's what you did with me. Like, I remember a while back, Howard Stern had Hillary Clinton on his show. And this was after, Trump had already won the presidency and so on and so forth. Howard Stern actually said on air that if he felt that he had actually gotten Hillary Clinton sooner while she was running for president, with 33 million subscribers that SiriusXM has, and with 70,000 less votes that she got in the election, that definitely would have put her over the top. He feels at least he would have found that 70,000 members that would actually vote for her, because he was able to picture her in a humanized way. Like, he wasn't focused on her politics. He didn't want to ask her about Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, all this stuff. He wanted to paint her in the the most human light possible. And he is such a talented guy that he's able to do that. He's been able to change people's perceptions of certain celebrities because they talk on the show. And so, the point that I'm getting at is that when you did that with Jack Chitterelli, before that, I felt like, he's just another typical Republican politician, pointing out the faults of the current governor we have. But you were able to show a human side of him that it kind of painted him in a brighter light for me. And I was also really, discussing on the episode further, I loved your professionalism, because you guys were having some technical difficulties and it was live on the air, but yet you went through it. And especially you were still considered a rookie at that point. So,
oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. So that was, I think, what impressed me out of everything else.
Thank you. That was actually, I was really proud of that, because of the fact that, I went to him. I had to speak to him directly and ask him directly if, he would come on the show. And I said, listen, I think this would make an incredible show, because I'm a registered Democrat. And I don't want to talk about politics. I want to talk about you.
Right.
I want to talk about the man, the businessman, the Jersey man. And he loved that idea so much. and it was a great show. And I remember,
and he's so fucking Jersey.
He's so fucking. I remember the last question that I asked him. It was off air. I forgot to ask on air because he's Italian, obviously. True.
Oh yeah.
I said, and I grew up Italian, and I said, Sunday dinner, was it sauce or was it gravy? And he started laughing just like, because in my house it was gravy. He's like, no, it was sauce. And I was like, we can't be friends. I can't vote for you now.
Yeah, but he was able to roll with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, like I said, I thought that interview was great. And that's actually what essentially made me a fan, because let's be honest, there's a lot of people out there that have podcasts nowadays, and everybody thinks they can do a great job. And maybe I'm a bit of an asshole. Maybe I'm also a bit of a nitpicker, but I know talent when I see it. I know great shows when I see it. And, I'm not trying to come off as cocky or anything, but I sometimes feel like some of these people that are doing podcasts are not on our level. I genuinely believe that. And with that being said, just seeing your talent and and also those following episodes that came on, with Kato Styles and Pharaoh T and so on and so forth, and also my boy Angelic, that was a great episode. That's actually, I think that'd be my answer about a star who I think should be bigger.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, because interesting thing about this, I think I've told you this, but I haven't told my audience, because I've actually had Angelic on my show, and I was actually on their show as well, DNA Live.
I'm still waiting, Angelic.
He did reach out to me. He did mention you. Of course, he said MindMinx. But the funny thing is that he actually reached out to me, and I had no idea who he was. And I was like, I didn't know I was coming off as a dick. Well, I was like, well, I got to see what your music is about, and if I like it, then I'll call you back, and so on and so forth. But then afterwards, I listened to his music. I liked it, and then the interview that you did with him, you saw, again, you humanized him. You showed a whole different light of him, and I loved his energy. And I thought not a lot of dudes can fuck with this kind of energy.
Wait, really? Because all I kept thinking was he won't even look at me. He's not. I need eye contact.
Right, I think was he just looking at the camera or something?
I think he was. I don't know. But all I said to my engineer, I was like, was that okay? He didn't even look. He's like, it was great. I promise you.
And when you pointed that out, I was like, holy shit, that's a good fucking point. Because while I'm watching it, I noticed that most of the time your guests are looking at a certain angle, but he's looking the complete opposite direction. You're trying to look at him in the face, but he's just looking out the window or something. But the weirdest thing is he was engaged the entire time.
Yeah, completely engaged.
That was crazy. And then the freestyles, forget it.
Oh my God. He freestyled MindMinx.
Yeah, he did. I think that guy can he could look at that painting right there and make a song out of it. That's just how he's wired. He's wired differently. But yeah, no, that was and that's also pretty cool. This whole camaraderie about how, I've been able to introduce you to some of the people that I've been working with and vice versa. And I just think it's a beautiful thing, man. And, in this past year, I don't know how this has gone for you personally, but one of the proudest things about me starting this show is I feel like I've actually elevated myself as a person, not just as a podcaster, because the way that I had my show set up, it was from literally down to the bottom. I'll tell you, the first episode that I ever recorded was in my closet, because it was the only soundproof place in my room, and I needed some privacy. And I'm so adamant about how sound quality is that I just settled for that room. And then, fast forward to now, I'm working in the studio. I'm working with a whole bunch of people. I had no idea that I was going to get this involved in this community. And the point that I'm trying to make, though, here is that how I started my show was literally from the bottom. And I was also kind of I wish I had a nice ass studio with the best equipment and so on and so forth. But I realized that I started the show from the bottom, and then the more I elevated the show, the more I elevated as a person. So everything is hindsight 2020, and I'm glad that approach happened, because I feel like if I actually already had a set up studio with the best equipment, and I had everything was top notch, who knows, that I probably could have stayed very complacent
and not,
or maybe not motivated enough, you know? Because I know some people that I won't put out their names out there, but they've actually tried to get into the podcast game because I inspired them before I even got my show going. And they stopped at episode 10, and now I'm damn near 60.
Wow. Well, good for you.
Thank you.
Fuck them.
Absolutely. Yeah, fuck them. I definitely don't want to give them any shine anyway. But anyway, so what do you think is what's next for MindMinx show?
I have no freaking clue, dude. I was sick for 2 weeks. All right, so I was supposed to take September off.
Okay.
I was just gonna take it off just to chill, and I got sick.
Oh.
and it just completely threw my schedule behind. So now I'm trying to plan for November, and we're still mobile. So right now I'm looking for homes to be, to do my show. So luckily I've made a lot of great connections, and now locations are looking to host me. So Coquito Blue in Whitestone would like to host me. New Mecca Studio invited me. So hopefully, actually it was Demi.
Okay. Yeah, I know Demi.
She actually does. So I said, again, I was drunk, so I made her say it in front of Izzy. So I have to message Izzy to get that set up.
Right.
But so it's difficult to plan something when there's no home.
That is true. I mean, but even though I feel like I've made it work, because even before I, found the studio that I've been using now for quite some time, I just had to work with what I had. I was like, going back to Angelic, I literally drove all the way to Long Island to his house to do the show. For me, it was by any means necessary. That's the way that I looked at it. But
you had all your equipment. Like how? All right. So here's my question for you. Being that you are self-sufficient, like my show is part of a home of radio station.
Right. That's different. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and we have different formats. Like everything what we're doing right now is pre-recorded. You do a live show
I do
on the
live
air.
streaming. Yeah. So it was different because we were in our own studio. We were in Queens, and for a year I was going out to Queens, and it was great. You know how that experience was. It was so awesome to be in that studio. But because I was driving out there for a whole year, when we started to go mobile because we were going to be upgrading to a new studio, I was like, that's awesome. I don't have to go across the bridge for a summer.
Yeah, I remember that.
But now it's kind of like we're still
in
limbo.
Up in the air.
Yeah, we're still in limbo. And it's like, damn, I'm tired of looking for a spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's enough work to book a guest, to do the research. And as far as monetizing, I don't know about you, but like,
I haven't seen a single dollar from anything yet.
But have you, like, did anybody ever be like, do you have any sponsors? Are you going to get any sponsors?
Oh yeah, all the time.
That's how my first year started. And when I tell you the anxiety that I was causing myself, I was like, I finally shut down. I like disappeared for a month, and I shut down. I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
I was like, people have such expensive hobbies like cocaine. They snort up their nose. I was like, I'm not even going to be upset that I spent a couple bucks on my show.
Right.
And I stopped looking for sponsors. I that aspect of it, this is something I enjoy doing. So I stopped worrying about that. And then all of a sudden Instagram started monetizing my reels.
That's awesome. Yeah. And the thing is also is I love doing this show. I love doing this podcast, and I love being part of the community and so on and so forth. But you're right, because sometimes there are people out there that they can be proud of what you're doing and they think that you're doing a great job, but there's always a however. What are you gaining out of it? Are you monetizing? Are you making any money? Have you been making the right connections? Are you putting yourself in a position to do this, do that? Have you thought about merch and so on and so forth? Like, and the thing is that I get it, but I also try not to let it consume me or take over my way of thinking, because I don't want it to be the same situation where like I have to do all of this extra work without, and I'm still trying to focus on why I'm doing this in the first place. And I don't want to lose focus and, even lose my passion for it. But like, this is too much for me. I'm not in it for it anymore. And I think that's one of my biggest fears when it comes to this endeavor, because I'll do anything within reason to, make my show as successful as it can be. But I also want to hold on to that fire, that passion. And if I feel like I have too many voices in the circle telling me how to do this and how to do that, or what should I do, then I don't know.
How do you politically correct tell them to shut the fuck up?
Oh, I'm not politically correct.
Oh, you're not?
No,
you just tell them mind your business?
Yeah, well, basically, I say it in the condensed way that I just told you right now. Or sometimes I'll be like, just shut the fuck up.
I literally say, listen, I know people who spend more money on coke, so leave me alone.
Yeah. But yeah, no, but I get it. It's things that you have to do, but also like they also have to realize that, that is the plan, but don't put me on a time limit here. You know, like it's eventually going to get done. It's like, this is going to sound kind of defeatist, but I'll get it done on its own time. Like when I get around to it, I'll get around to it. But not just like, I can't just, I know I got to do merch and I want to do merch, but I want to do it when I have the time and have, you know, everything in place for it to actually happen.
And listen, you know, I believe in all that, the universe and alignment shit. It'll happen. It'll happen when it's ready.
Right. I just don't like when people are trying to force or try to add more to the equation or more to the plan when it's not exactly on your radar just yet.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because you make it look easy.
You think so?
Yeah. We make it look fucking easy.
I never thought of it that way.
If it's this easy, why aren't they doing the next step? They have no fucking clue.
Yeah, or maybe they want us to be on their level, so to speak, on whatever their endeavor they're doing.
Everybody always thinks that they're better. So when they see someone that they don't think is at their level doing something, then it must be easy. And then why aren't they doing something more?
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that we make it look so easy, because one of my biggest fears is that I just don't want to suck. I really don't. And so that's why, even though it may seem easy what we do, I really take it seriously and I work really fucking hard to, and you know, like I said, I'm not monetizing anything. I'm not seeing a single dollar from this, but that's not even on my mind. I'm just doing, I have a hard day. I have a day job and I do a hard day of work. And no matter how tired and how drained I am, I still look forward to doing this. So I will find whatever low energy that I have still in my body, and I will maximize it to the full potential just for an hour or two doing this shit.
And isn't that exactly when what did you ask me when I walked in here? Like, you sure you got, because I said I was exhausted. I was like, I promise you I'm okay.
And you know, like you told me that it's been a while since you've done this. So it's like, you know, it's getting your energy up again. And it's not just the coffee in your cup.
Oh God, no, I've been drinking coffee all day. I'm immune to this.
Oh, sorry. This is just like water to
yes.
you now. Yeah. But going back to the whole break that you were talking about. So I actually took a break myself in August. I took the entire month of August off, and I feel like I needed it. I definitely did. But at the same time, there was a part of me that was thinking, what if I just kept on going with this shit? Because a part of me didn't really want to stop. But I really had to take a step back because of everything that was going on in my personal life. And then also with my day job, it was getting to be a little overwhelming. And I just didn't want to stop, but I just felt like there was so many things going on in the universe that, you know, whatever higher powers up there is saying, like, well, listen, you're a Taurus, you're fucking stubborn, so I need to find some way to actually show you, not just tell you, that you need to take a break. You need to calm down, or else you're going to burn yourself out. And that's essentially what happened. And I'm glad that the break happened and I didn't let it go on too long. However, I was still in my stubborn mind where, like, even though I'm not doing my show, I'm doing a plethora of guest spots on everybody else's show. But going back to, you know, talking about taking a break, even though it was again, you know, out of your control, do you think it was still necessary that you took that break? Do you feel like possibly you could have felt burnt out, or were you feeling burnt out already?
I think so, because I always put a lot of pressure on myself. So, you know, as soon as someone starts saying, you know, things are going really great. So for instance, the last real show I had was Frankie.
Yeah.
So when I say I ended, like, if I wanted that to be the end of season 2, I ended that shit on a high ass fucking note. And everybody was like, no, you gotta, like, keep going. You're on, like, a roll right now. That kind of esteem is amazing. You shouldn't. And I was like, that holy shit, that pressure, like, immediately I shut down. I can't, I'm organic. I can't force it. And as soon as somebody said to me, and it was said to me, this is amazing. Go for the next one. What's the next one? I don't fucking know. Literally shit falls in my lap. Yeah. And I know that sounds, however it sounds.
Defeatist?
Not defeated, but almost sounds like entitled.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like like I said, my friend Richie will be like, hey, I know somebody who wants to be on the show. Reach out. Yeah. Okay, set up, like, Mina.
Yes, shout out to Mina Mendoza.
Shout out to Mina. So, you know, when you mentioned her, I was like, set it up, my friend. You know, that's literally what I'm used to doing. Yeah. You know, so as entitled as that sounds, that's what I'm used to. Everything, you know, I don't want to say that it gets handed to me, because I do all the background work, and when, you know, we sit down and talk, we have a real conversation. But I almost felt like, holy shit, like, I need it to organically happen. I don't like, what do you mean I need to not look for the next guy, but like, who am I supposed to go after next? Like I need the universe to have it come to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, like, so yeah, I'm reaching out to people now that are pretty big. Like I just contacted Jess Laprado. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I can't say that I am.
He is actually from my hometown, and he is a dancer, singer. He was in West Side Story, the remake.
Okay, yes, all right. And now it's coming back to me now. I know you told me about this person, yes, and I did see West Side Story, so I know who you're talking about. Yes.
And he was supposed to be on my show last spring.
Right, yes.
And he, my son is calling. Tell me you don't watch my lives without telling me you don't watch my lives by calling me. My engineer had caught COVID, so he wasn't able to, we weren't able to do the show.
Right.
And so I was rescheduling. So now I'm trying to reschedule him for November. So those kind of things I have no problem reaching out to, because it was, previous, but it's like a lot of pressure to be like, oh my God, who am I going to impress the audience with next? That's a different type of pressure that I'm not prepared for.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because it's actually, and I'm interested because we do different formats. So my show is obviously pre-recorded. And one of the frustrating things to happen to me is that, you'll have people that agree to come on your show, but then afterwards either, something happens to them. Like I'll tell you right now, the episode that I did with Izzy Nice, that was actually our second attempt, because our first attempt, he was 45 minutes late, but it was out of his control because he caught a flat tire.
I remember.
Yeah. But then there's other moments where like, it's the day of, or maybe the day before, and then people will say that, I'm not going to be able to do it today because of this and that. So, or they'll just kind of leave you hanging. And then but the positive side for me is that everything I do is pre-recorded, so I have an opportunity at least to back myself up with for other people.
Palpitations I would have.
Right. But I would have even bigger palpitations if I was in your case, because you do a live show. So that actually, you have to do damage control right away. So has that happened to you before? And if it has, what have you done to get out of it?
So thank God, no.
Okay.
It's never happened. But I've always had a backup.
Okay.
So I would have like a friend that would, kind of be like on the side burner, if God forbid. But thank God.
Right.
But I'm that person. I'm like, a week before confirming, 5 days before confirming. You know what I mean? Like, and with the way I promote, I tag every day, so they know.
Right.
They know. And like I'm on the phone. You know what I mean? Like I am a pain in the ass. Like, And I remember there was one person who actually, and Izzy was my backup. I was supposed to have. Do you remember the show premiere that we went to at Cityplex?
Yes.
She was the realtor. That was
yes. Okay, I remember. Yeah.
She was supposed to be on my show, and I had booked her for that day, and I had sent her a message, saying, hey, just confirming. She didn't respond. So I sent Izzy a message just like, hey, listen, I have somebody for Sunday. They're not responding. By Wednesday, if I don't hear anything, can you do it? He's like, yeah, sure. So by Wednesday, I sent her a message. I was like, I'm sorry if I haven't heard from you. I need to rebook you. Hopefully I'll hear from you to reschedule.
Right. Yeah.
And that's it. That's where I've come to. Before it used to be, hey, Steph, can you come? You know what I mean?
Shout out Steph Absalom.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, and also what kind of makes it difficult for me is that even though you do a live show, you only do it once a week. Me, I'm a psycho and I do 2 episodes
a week. I don't know how the hell you do that.
I'm even more of a psycho because I told Mina earlier today, if I could do it 5 days a week, I would.
Holy crap.
Yeah, but I got a day job, so it's not practical.
I remember it started getting so busy for me when I first started. I don't know how to say no. I've learned how to say no. But I didn't know how to say no. And people would be saying, hey, can I come on? Can I come on? Can I come on?
I'm actually getting that right now, but continue.
I was double booking people. I think there was once that I had 3 shows in one day. And so my whole Sunday would be at the studio. And do you know how much, because I do all my own research. It's not like I have a team that does the research for me. I was doing all my own research. And I do have a full-time job. And I was just like, I'm I was burnt out just by that. So finally, my engineer was like, you need to stop fucking doing that once a week. And even now at twice a month, because now it's down to twice a month, that's more than, because like I had no weekends. I was doing it every weekend. I had no weekends. So now I'm doing it twice a month.
Wow. I still say personally that's not enough because I need my MindMinx fix every weekend.
Well, you can replay.
Yeah, get them views up and everything.
Yeah, but you know what? I do like doing lives.
Okay.
I am offering that more and more because a lot of people aren't comfortable still, which is fine. But I have been doing that, and if they're remote, like I was able to do Derek Brady from the show Johnson, and the woman who plays his wife would also Renali Santiago, and there's some other people who want to, and I'm like, that's the option that I could do for you.
Yeah. Who would you say is your white whale guest? Like one person that if you feel like you have booked this person and they come on your show, then everything else is like there's nothing more to prove.
I don't know. Who's yours?
For me, it would be Jim Carrey.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like, well, obviously we all know that he's one of the greatest comedic minds of all time. I mean, he's been such iconic comedy movies, but I also would love to have him on, not just to discuss his career and so on and so forth, but this is a guy that has dealt with his own mental health issues. And I'm a person that who's a very big advocate for mental health. And I would also like the opportunity to humanize him. And I feel confident enough that I can do that regardless how big his star is.
Oh, I don't know. I would have to think about that. Can we table that?
Yeah, I mean, I do plan on having you again in the future.
All right. I would have to think about that because there's so many people.
Not even one off the top of your list? Off the top of your head? Because I can tell you right now, Jim Carrey is probably at the top, but he's not the only one. I mean, I would have to have a backup, especially since we were just talking about covering our asses when shit happens.
I don't know. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I love Jennifer Lopez.
That's not a bad one.
I love Jennifer Lopez.
Why would you like to have her on?
I think, well, first of all, she's an amazing entertainer. And entertainer doesn't mean that she needs to have singing skills. She's an entertainer.
Yeah, she's multifaceted.
Super. And she has that if factor.
Absolutely.
Like, even if she's faking it, like I always say, fake it till you make it. And guess what? Guess fucking what?
She made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. But that's a good one. And I don't know why you would get so much flack for
Oh
it.
my
Why?
God. She gets so much fucking hate.
You know what? Fuck all that noise, because all those people that talk shit about her and everything, and even the people that you know closest, if you get her on your show, they're going to fucking hype you up so much and they're going to rack up all the views in the world. So forget about all that nonsense. You know, how many times is it that people say like, oh man, fuck that celebrity, I don't care for them. And then show like, hey, what's up?
All the time.
Yeah, so it's going to be the same thing. So I don't care. I mean, one person that I think I would even have is Pete Davidson. A lot of people can't stand his ass.
I don't get it. I don't hate him, but I just don't get it.
I personally find him interesting, and I actually think he is funny.
Yeah, no, I find him funny, but I don't get it.
You know, one person that is kind of a has-been, but I would definitely love to have him on my show, but I know that maybe not so much from my audience, but from people from the outside world, they would absolutely, like, the comments would be just eviscerated with so much hate and everything. It would have to be Carlos Mencia. Because of his reputation as joke thief and everything. But before all of those accusations, I was legitimately a fan. And I feel like, yeah, maybe what he did was fucked up, but I don't think anybody in his position deserved the kind of vitriol and hate that he got. Because I think it was like way over the top. But believe it or not, I still plot my $40 down to watch his show because I still find them entertaining. But I know for a fact, if that's one guy that I had on my show, maybe not so much from my audience, like I just mentioned, but the outside world would, like, my comments would just like kill him. like, because like, oh, why you have that guy? Fuck that guy. He's a thief and so on and so forth. But
yeah, but you know
fuck
what? That's how the whole freaking world is. Like, how many times have you now seen a meme that, you know, like Milli Vanilli would be so fucking pissed off. Everybody's making a killing on TikTok, lip syncing. That's what we've come to.
I know. It's all about nostalgia as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, but yeah, no, that's somebody that I can think off the top of my head. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have any fucking politicians that I can't stand, because I don't know if I can keep I'll try to be the most professional person I am, but deep down inside, I'm gonna think like, fuck this guy.
I couldn't either.
Yeah, so
I'm too nice, and I like my whole, like what you said. I'm here to try to tell the most well-lated story. I'm not here to try to throw shade. Like, there's enough people doing that. So like, if it was somebody I disliked, no, I couldn't.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even waste my time. Like, the way I look at it, I probably can think of a million other people that I'd rather have on than that douchebag. Yeah. So one of the things that people have been really impressed by me personally with my show is the amount of research that I've done, and I know that you do a hell of a lot of research as well. For anybody out there that's an upcoming podcaster, what can you explain about your process, about the research that you do on your guests, and what would you suggest for anybody that wants to get into the game that we're in?
Well, first of all, don't be afraid to shoot your shot. That's number one. I think a lot of people are always afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid. And that's actually, I would actually send that as a message. Be like, you know.
I second that, because before I did this podcast, my social anxiety was through the roof. So
the answer is always no unless you ask the question.
Right.
So just ask the question. The answer might be yes. And for us, obviously, it's been yes. So, but just do your research, and you'd be surprised what's out there. And I remember I did an interview with etc. And I just started watching a whole bunch of interviews that he did eons ago.
Yes, shout out to etc.
Shout out. And and I remember telling you so, just to other podcasters who, you know, aren't that great.
Yeah.
I told you, I was
Step
like,
your game up.
I was like, I can't stand her voice.
Oh, I do remember this. I thought the same thing too. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
But just watch, just take notes, because I'm telling you, these people aren't, you know, if they did an interview 5 years ago and you take some interesting points from that and you bring it back, be like, holy shit, I forgot about that. Yeah. They're going to love that.
You know what I also try to do in my research, and I don't want to give too many secrets away, but sometimes I'll do what you do, like, you know, do my research on other interviews and so on and so forth. And then there'll be something interesting in the interview that happens. And then afterwards, I want to probe deeper. I don't know how to explain it further than that, but like that was, I remember they were asked this question, and I thought that was really interesting, but I want to go a little bit further. I want to go down that rabbit hole. And then afterwards it happens. And like, I guess the perfect example for me was when I had Kyrie Williams on. Shout out to Kyrie Williams. He worked on ESPN New York for a number of years, and now he's working at Spotify. He's doing media stuff. But back in the day, he was a rapper. And I wouldn't have known that unless I actually really, really went all the way back into the archives of his Instagram. And I saw, you know, back in 2015, he had an album out and so on and so forth. And I brought it up to him, and he had no idea that I was coming with those kind of questions. You know, he thought that I was, and I did ask him the questions like, you know, how do you get into like the business that you're in and so on and so forth. But I really did my homework, and just the look on his face to seeing how much research that I did on him, it was like a badge of honor. And that made me feel good. And that also made me realize that, you know what, I really do have a niche for this. And I genuinely love doing research on people, because I love the thought of and the feeling of being prepared.
And by the way, that's the one thing that every single guest has ever said that they've hated when they've gone on a podcast or being interviewed and they didn't know anything.
Why? Why would they do that?
So let's talk about that, because I know you're looking at your watch. So let's what are
I'm just making sure that we have enough time. That's
okay. So before we get kicked out of
Jersey Media, what up?
But what are your pet peeves?
My pet peeves are when it seems like they're only there as an obligation. Like, it's only going to benefit them instead of respecting the integrity of the show. I can't stand non-communication. I can't stand.
One word answers.
Okay. Yeah, one word answers, absolutely. Ironically, when they do the too long. And you know, and also like I really hate to say this, but fuck it, I'm gonna keep it spicy. As much as I love these artists that we talk with and we're fans of the music, whatever, guys, when you're doing these interviews, perk the fuck up, man. Like, I know you guys are trying to like do your thing, promote the shit and everything, but perk up. We don't want you to look like a fucking bore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, you know, be excited that you're here on the show.
Oh,
Be
I know,
Be
right?
excited that you're on the MindMinx show.
Like,
be excited that you're on
what
first
is
class, second place.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, like, don't
like
be...
9 times out of 10, you guys asked us.
Yeah. Just drop the mic right there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a pet peeve. But just, guys, perk the fuck up. You know, show some kind of life. That's all we're asking for, because we're already doing our job. It's not that hard for you to do yours.
But it's not even like it's not a classroom. You're talking about yourself.
Exactly.
We're
not
hard.
doing the SATs here.
Yeah.
You know, we're just getting to know you. Unless, I don't know, maybe they're. Anyway, let's just not get into it. I don't want to get into like way down this rabbit hole, because you know how sensitive artists can be.
Oh, all right, fine. So what's our number one rule?
Stay off the weed. Stay off the weed.
No smoking before taping.
Yes. Afterwards, do whatever the fuck you want.
Listen, I love saying that I can have a conversation with the stone. I fucked it up already. I can have a conversation with a rock. That doesn't mean you can be stoned.
Yeah, that was actually, you said that to me and I forgot as well. So you kind of stole my thunder. Yeah. Say it again for the people in the back.
So I can have a conversation with a rock. That doesn't mean to be stoned.
There you go. Love it. Love it. Oh my God. But so what do you, anything else coming from MindMinx herself? Like, is there anything else that you want to do besides just the show? Like, have you thought about dipping your toe into like any other media platforms or anything like that? Yes.
I'm thinking of doing voiceovers.
Me too.
Yeah?
Me too. I've been talking with some people that can put me in the right. Like, did you even know that there's such thing as audio dramas?
I did not.
Apparently there's audio dramas where all you have to do is just, it's like you're doing a Broadway play or whatever, but you're just using your voice
Wow.
acting. I had no idea. So now
All
I'm
I know,
intrigued.
yeah. So I become pretty friendly with Isaiah Seward, and he does a lot of voiceovers. That's how he maintained his income during the pandemic. And he's a regular on New Amsterdam. And he has his own studio in his home, so he's actually going to be helping me do some reels for voiceover. I was like, I have hundreds of hours, so I'm trying to put together a demo reel. We have hundreds of hours of audio.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
you know what it is though, is that you're absolutely right. We have tons of audio samples and everything, but I guess, and I'm not saying that it's not going to get done. It will. It's just me. I just don't necessarily know where to start. Mm-hmm. I know that it's all about knowing the right people. Or if I could just even find a YouTube tutorial of how to do it, then I'll just go from there.
see, you can do that. I am the most technically challenged person.
Don't give me that shit. Hold on. Listen,
100%.
MindMinx, I love you, but don't give me that shit, because you've been able to monetize and I have no idea how to make $1 out of this shit yet.
I don't know. Instagram just says one day to me, hey,
and it's not just because you're a pretty face either. You know what the fuck you're doing.
Dude, I'm literally just making a video of the beach and it gets 23,000. That's all I did.
So all I got to do is just make a video at the Patterson Falls and hopefully I get 50 cents from it?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
It's 50 cents more than I had yesterday.
And then they offered me subscribe. I'm like, who the fuck is going to pay to watch my video? Well, I guess they aren't paying.
Yeah. Well, would that kind of put pressure on you? Like, okay, now I really have to do this.
Well, it's interesting because people are starting to like, what is this? I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. I forgot.
Yeah, but I definitely agree on the voice acting. I always thought that you had a tremendous voice.
Thank you.
Not just everything about you and your show and your personality. You talked about J-Lo having the F factor. I've mentioned to you plenty of times that I always thought you had the F factor, and I'm definitely fortunate to be in your presence as a colleague. And like I said before earlier, you're not just a colleague of mine. You're my dearest fucking friend in the world.
You've been to my house.
Yes.
Not many people can say that, man.
No. I'm honored. And, your family's fucking amazing too. Shout out to Vic, shout out to your sons and everybody else. Awesome people.
Even though he keeps calling me, even though he,
Was it Vic or
No, it's Christian.
Somebody's clearly not watching.
Somebody, I can't see that far, but that might be him who just hopped on.
Well, say hi, Christian. All right, well, we're about to close out this episode a little bit. I mean, time flies when you're really having fun.
Yep.
But
happy anniversary, man.
Thank you. Happy anniversary
Here's
to you.
Here's to many, many more moons of first class, second place.
Thank you. Hey, you're saying it right now.
Yep. It only took a year.
And everybody, it's MindMinx, not Mindy
MindMinx.
Yeah.
MindMinx.
Yeah. You're about to get mind fucked.
Yep.
All right. Well, this is fun. So definitely the first, this actually second of many episodes. I actually can't wait to be on your show as well again. So is there anybody you want to give a shout out to before we close out?
Who did I forget? We said everybody. Said Burn. Said hubby. Who did I forget? My sisters.
How about the guy standing in front of you?
You? But duh.
I'm fucking with you. Okay. No, but no, definitely shout out Minx Vibes Radio for sure.
Yep, always.
Yeah, always. And so where can they find you on social media so they can continue to help you monetize and everything?
We are on, okay, because yes, I have multiple personalities. So that was 100% accurate.
Freudian slip.
That was 100% accurate. You can find your favorite MindMinx on Instagram, MindMinx. Twitter, but not really. Instagram, that's where you can find me. And TikTok, but not really. Instagram.
Instagram, that's where it is. Yeah. Can you believe I finally got a TikTok?
I know. I've been liking your shit.
Yeah, I'm not on it as much. Yeah, but I gotta get on
that. I think we've already
But you know what? Shout out to Mina again. I think for the third or fourth time now. But she actually told me at one point that TikTok might replace Google one day as far as looking for content or searching something. I'm like, how the fuck is that?
Okay, I agree.
How is that possible though?
Well, any hurricane shit, I was looking on there.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
Google has too much old shit.
Not enough updates. Yeah. And it's also a search engine. I mean, TikTok is actually from the people, by the people, for the people.
In real time.
In real time. Yeah. All right. Well, this is a lot of fun. I appreciate it. That's where you can find her on social media. And you can find me at Enrique _ on Instagram, Twitter, and now TikTok. And now officially on YouTube. And you can follow the First Class Second Place podcast page on Instagram as well. This has been the First Class Second Place podcast. We out.